What's up everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review or some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And what I have for you guys today is my review for Young Thug's new album, Barter 6. Now of course this was gonna be called the Carter 6 as a slap in the face to Lil Wayne and his Carter series, but after some legal issues, this one ended up getting changed to Barter 6. Because of how Bloods like Young Thug sometimes replace the letter C with B. And before I get too deep into this review, I just want to say flat out that I do not give a shit about Young Thug's sexuality. It's 2015, it's his life, and I really don't care. I'm just here to review the music. So after you check this video out, let me know what you think about Young Thug in general, and what did you think of this album? Now I know that I was quick coming out with this review, but that's because there's just not much to be said here. If you like Young Thug, I'm sure you'll be happy with this album, but if you can't take his voice, well, he still sounds the same. He raps and wails as always, and in a nutshell, this album reminds me of a Future mixtape, except with even worse vocals. Because just like a lot of Future's music, Barter 6 has some great production, a lot of which is done by London on the track. And I would say that London is by far the MVP on this album, especially when you look at the beats that he brought for the single Check and the songs With That and Numbers. Really though, if you're not a fan of Young Thug's vocal style and delivery, the great beats are not going to be enough to make this an enjoyable album for you. But you probably would have liked it if it was just a beat tape. Feature-wise, we get Birdman on the song Constantly Hating, where on the hook, Young Thug gets at his haters and the pussy niggas who masturbate on him, whatever that's supposed to mean. And this song is produced by Wheezy Fifth, who just like London, did a lot of beats on here. This is one of the worst songs on here because of how dull the beat is, and it really doesn't help that we have to listen to Birdman rhyme nigga with nigga and rap about his AKs and his flights and smoking so much weed that he looks Chinese and... Reviews, bars. And Birdman is just as cringeworthy on the song Knocked Off, where Young Thug's ad-libs throughout his verse don't help it out at all. Really, these two tracks are two of the worst tracks on the album. But once you see that Birdman is featured, that's no surprise. I mean, I'm still scarred for life from Birdman's verse on Shawty Lowe's Foolish remix. Check it out if you're brave enough. It's one of the worst verses of all time. Now, Young Dolph is featured on the song Never Had It, where he drops one of the better flows on the album. And as for Young Thug on this song, well, he compares the smell of his weed to a fart. There's also a rapper by the name of Duke dropping a completely forgettable verse on the song Dome. And just like much of the album, the content revolves around money, drugs, hoes, cars, etc. And you know, I'm okay with simple concepts and themes sometimes. And going into an album like this, I'm not really expecting to hear a lot in the way of lyricism and content. But still, there's just nothing overly interesting or good happening on this album, aside from the production. I really think that it would have gone a long way if Young Thug could have dropped one or two personal and insightful tracks on here. Hell, even a couple more verses with some depth would have helped, because for someone who is such an interesting character like Young Thug, it would have been cool to get a little bit of insight into who he is, and how he became that way. But one of the standout tracks on Barter 6 is Can't Tell with T.I. and Boosie Badass, who both drop alright verses, but nothing to write home about. Although it was kind of funny when T.I. said that his girl lets him put it everywhere but the butt. On the hook, Young Thug sings Pussy Boy I'll Leave You Dead and Call It Dedication, which is clearly a jab at Lil Wayne, who is known for his Dedication mixtape series. And it's just weird to me how Young Thug has this obsession with Lil Wayne, because he disses him on songs while also saying in interviews that Lil Wayne is his idol. Not to mention that Young Thug is basically just doing a Lil Wayne impression throughout this whole album. So there's really not much more for me to say. By now, I think everyone knows how they feel about Young Thug. You either ride with him or you don't. Me personally, his shrieky voice and wailing ad-libs are just way too irritating for me to enjoy, but he actually has an alright flow every once in a while when he decides to just straight up rap, like on the song Just Might Be, where he kicks some double time flow. But in the end, I gotta give this one a 2 out of 5. While the production is great, it does get a little bit repetitive, and it's not compelling enough to make this into a great album. The features don't really bring much to the table either, and content-wise, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. That's just what I think about this album. You guys hit me up in the comments section to let me know what you think and how you feel about Young Thug, and as usual, do all that other good YouTube and social media stuff, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and you especially subscribe to my channel. That's the one that helps me out the most. I'll see you guys next time.